And I was like, what is this about? What?
That's okay though. For being so young, you're very, very smart. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work, man, and stay flat, okay?
Okay, I'm a flat earther. She couldn't do it. I'm a flat earther. I'm a flat earther. I'm a flat earther.
What'd your teacher do?
She just didn't talk to me anymore. All she did was walk away. And I was like, what is this about? What?
That's okay though. For being so young, you're very, very smart. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work, man, and stay flat, okay?
Okay, I'm a flat earther. She couldn't do it.
Up for sound bites. This is awesome.
Welcome back to Anti-Religious Scripture Study with me, Karen B. Of course, Just Jack Flat Earth. Shabbat Shalom. Ooh.
Hello.
And we just passed 11:11.
All right, 11:11. Sorry, last week was my fault. We were not live last week because I just needed a rest, and I took advantage. And I mean, that's what Shabbat's for anyway. So I took full advantage, and yeah, had a restful day. But I did catch up with the translations, and we'll go over it today. I'm currently trying to open the chat because I've recently reset my internet, which I accidentally erased all the cookies, which means I erased all the logins. So, and Karen B is impossible to find because she's shadow banned. I'm going pages and pages down here looking for Karen B's channel. It's down here somewhere. Oh my gosh, it's worse than it was before.
I'm glad you all can see it now. It's not just me.
Oh my gosh. Like, okay. All right. I'm gonna look at this. Look, I typed in Karen B. Look at this mess. Oh my gosh. It's
Well, there's
Unveiling the
Strange
Throne
World.
comes up first,
Yeah.
but where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is.
Whoa.
I found it. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy how shadow
Dang,
banned
man.
you are.
That's
It's
way down there.
ridiculous.
I used to be first.
I
And then
know.
I got those strikes right before Flattoberfest.
Flattoberfest, yeah.
And then that was it.
Oh man, see this is a good day for me to get in chat too.
Nuked.
Like I see Tony Coriolis in there.
Yeah, hey, what's up, Tony Coriolis?
I met him at the bar. Let's see, pop out chat. That's funny. Like I go to the bar all the time. No, I met him at the bar in Vegas during Flattoberfest, so that was pretty cool. All right, so we got Truth Faction, Shabbat Shalom, Tori Coriolis, Aisling717, Cammy, what's up? Keto Cheeto, TZ Zamman, Nathan Reed, Cam, is it Cam Ray or Camry? Kim Ray or Camry. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Duke Nukem, Captain Construction, NBD, Alex Javier, Phil Henry. Wow, there's a lot of people in here today.
Nice. Good to
Let's
see you all this fine
and
Saturday.
John Keeley. Shabbat Shalom and good day. All right, so I'll read my disclaimer just because, might as well. For those of you who want to come in here for religious argument, this is the wrong place. We are looking at scripture. I might as well read the disclaimer. Just Jack's disclaimer. To the religious, if you believe it's wrong to study the scripture outside of the religion or denomination, if you believe your religious leaders or church fathers are incapable of having inherited anti-scriptural traditions of men, if you've already made up your mind about scripture, including the scripture shouldn't be studied at all, then the stream is not for you. To others, if you are open-minded to others' opinions, if you haven't made up your mind about scripture, if you've been turned off to religion but believe there's truth in scripture that may have been changed or hidden by religion, if you live according to scripture and like to dig in and discover more, this stream is for you. We are looking at scripture in the original language using concordances or dictionaries for root words as well as context from a non-religion perspective. We will as well have life experience discussion. We are not here to argue with others about theology or doctrine by the traditions of men, including Catholicism, Christianity, or Judaism, and we will be discussing the importance of origins and show how religions contradict the scriptures. So I guess I should add something to the doctrine by the traditions of men and put in the Muslim religion as well, because that seems to be the new hotness for people to argue with me about. So
the new hotness.
Yeah. So the point is like, if you want to share information about your belief system, your religion, your holy book, I encourage you to make your own videos about it. It would be, educational, if nothing else. So, all right. So we are in the story of Balaam. Balaam is a prophet of Jehovah, and he is a prophet for hire. So he does not necessarily work on the behalf of Jehovah, but he does know how to connect with Jehovah. So that was something that has changed for me in reading this recently, where when I was in church, the only thing I heard about was, the beating of Balaam's ass, where the donkey talks to him and he was basically a witch or a prophet of another religion or whatever else. But this guy, he had, he basically he was involved with a lot of things from a religious perspective. He was he was paid for blessings and curses. Shout out to Matrix Media, Gregory Mars, a bunch of people just jumped in. Sorry, just Carolyn. So this first chapter, which is Numbers 22, he gets invited to curse Israel by King Balak, and he basically was told, curse Israel because we can see that every people that they interact with, they win. the war. So I need you to curse them. And if you do, you'll be like, one of the princes of my region. You're going to be like, hot stuff, lots of money, lots of stature. And he spoke to Yehovah about it. And Yehovah says, well, if they come yet again, then you go with them and then just speak what I tell you to speak. But instead of waiting for them to come again, he packed up his stuff, got on his donkey, and headed out. And on the way, it says that a angel appeared before Balaam, and it says that he was a Satan to him, because Satan just means opposition. It does not mean invisible bad guy with pitchfork. And the so he moved on to oh my gosh, I forget the country or city state, Kiryat Hutzot. Okay, so on multiple occasions in the next chapter of 23, they're like, Yehovah says, nope, I'm going to bless them, not curse them. And the king's like, no, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to be cursing them. So let's move to this new location, and we'll build some new altars there. We'll offer some new sacrifices there, and then you can curse them. And then he blesses Israel again. He's like, no, you're doing it wrong. So they went to 3 locations within chapter 23, and now we're at chapter 24. So we can put the parallel up there so everybody can see. And then whenever you're ready, you can start reading chapter 24.
All right. And when Balaam saw that it pleased Jehovah to bless Israel, he did not go as at other times to seek to use sorcery, but he set his face toward the wilderness.
Okay, so this situation right here is yet another situation of the translation occurrences that we've had lots of discussion about. So this sorcery is this one right here. This is that same word that's translated as serpent in Genesis, the serpent in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually the nachash, which is brass or bronze of divination, intuition, whisper, and by extension, they go to serpent because of a whisper, because they hear whispering, like, and snakes whisper because they hiss, and so on and so forth. So, all right. Verse 2.
And Balaam lifted up his eyes and saw Israel encamped according to their tribes, and the spirit of Elohim came upon him.
Okay, and this tribes is the one that's the branches, which there's this this thread throughout all of the scriptures where the people are called things like trees and fruits and branches and vines and all this sorts of stuff. So that's not a New Testament thing. It's been all throughout the scriptures. The spirit of Elohim came upon him. I actually want to look. Okay, so on him, Ruach Elohim. Okay, so that is a proper translation. There is a translation where it says the spirit of Yehovah came upon him, but if you look it up, it says the spirit of Yehovah put him on. But this is not one of those occasions. This one just says on him.
Okay. And he took up his proverb and said, the saying of Balaam, son of Beor, and the saying of the man whose eyes are opened.
Go ahead.
The saying of him who hears the words of El, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down with eyes opened wide.
Okay, so this this saying is not saying, it's utterance, and utterance is different than saying. He's led to say the words. In other words, the words are just coming out of his mouth. It's not like he's contemplating it and thinks about what he's going to say and then he says it. It's just words that are coming out. He's uttering. Uttering also happens when there's times where people are sick and they have an utterance and stuff like that. And then let's see, the envision of the Almighty, and Almighty is Shaddai, right? Like El Shaddai. If anybody's ever heard that before, it actually means destroyer, and by extension, Almighty. Okay. Who falls down with eyes wide open. Okay.
How good are your tents, O Yaakov, your dwellings, O Yisrael?
So here he goes. He's starting to bless them again. So you know the king's getting irate.
Like wadis that stretch out, like gardens by a river, like aloes planted by Yehovah, like cedars beside waters.
Okay.
He,
And wadis is, of course, desert bed rivers. They're not always there. They're waters that are there and not there. So
he makes water flow from his buckets, and his seed is in many waters. His sovereign is higher than Agag, and his
yeah,
reign is exalted.
Agog, Agag,
Agog,
sure. Yeah,
Agog.
Agog.
Agog, okay. El, who brought him out of Mitzrayim, is for them like the horns of a wild ox. He devours nations, his enemies, and he breaks their bones, and with his arrows he smites.
Okay, this is okay. We talked about this before too, but I think we should look at it again. So, wild ox, strength of a unicorn, right? Remember the strength of a unicorn?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what is translated as wild ox. But it says the where is it? I just had it. Okay. Wing of lift. Okay. Wing of lift is translated as strength of a unicorn in King James Version, wild ox in the Scriptures version. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I can actually go there really quick. Strength. Let me go to KJV Plus really quick. Strength. There you go.
Cover, wing, foliage.
All right.
Okay.
So that's wing. And then by extension, an eyelid. Okay. And then an extension of an eyelid is to be weak. And then the reverse of that is to be strong. So that's how they got strength. It's pretty far-fetched how they get there. And then unicorn, this is unicorn. Lift. High. Okay? And so, wing of lift makes sense because like right after they got out of Egypt, they sang a song and Jehovah lifts us up on the wings of an eagle, stuff like that. It's a common reference to them being taken out of Mitzrayim, aka Egypt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is wing of lift, not wild ox and not strength of a unicorn. Oh, horns of a wild ox and not strength of a unicorn. So
All right.
that's where that is. All right. And I encourage people to look it up for themselves and make their own decisions because they can go to like the level translation done by Strong's. Like if I go to KJV right here and go to strength and then go to Strong's, you can get so like I was saying, weariness, right? Because the eyelid, and then by the reverse strength. Right? So it also talks about speed, right? Because by wing, speed. But yet they use strength. And then unicorn is, translated unicorn, but defined as a wild bull from its conspicuousness. What?
Conspicuousness?
Conspicuousness. Sorry, conspicuousness. Yes.
Unicorn, one horn, wild bull. Does that mean it's talking about its horns?
There's nothing referring to a horn at all. It literally is the root to rise or high, right? To lift or high.
Ha!
So like the horn being high, I guess, but there's nothing referring to a horn.
Yeah.
But yet then,
I don't think
the Scriptures version, they get stuck on it and they're like, well, they're calling it unicorn because the horn. So then they put horn where there's no horn. It goes on and on.
It's crazy.
But anyway, I found that a very interesting verse.
All right.
And that's not the first time they mentioned it, because they mentioned it, I think, in the last chapter when he was blessing them.
All right. He bowed down, he lay down like a lion, and like a lion who would rouse him. Blessed is he who blesses you, and cursed is he who curses you.
Right.
Then the displeasure of Balak turned against...
Oh, wait, hold on. I want to go back to this.
Okay.
Sorry. I have to remember that a lot of people who are watching this may have never heard this before, or may have heard the spin of this before. Blessed is he who curses you, and blessed is he who blesses you, and curses he who curses you, right?
Mm-hmm.
People take this half of a verse to mean we need to send money to Israel. Okay? And then there's also groups of people who are saying, see, we need to treat the Jews as a more special people, right? Now that's a 2 times separated from this half a verse, because Israel is not Jews, right?
Mm-hmm.
Judah is a tribe of Israel, but Jews is not Israel, number
Right.
one. And blessed is he who blesses you, and curses he who curses you is talking about the true Israel, not the state of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I just wanted to point that out, because I haven't heard it in a few years, but there was a lot of that going on back when I was starting to look into this.
Mm-hmm.
And now that there's situations going on right now on the news, it's probably something that we need to address again, because if you look at this in the context, it's talking about, like, there is a king that's trying to bless the nation of Israel that was, that had no land. This is before they even established, this is before they crossed over the Jordan, aka the Jordan River.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, verse 10, sorry.
Then the displeasure of Balak turned against Balaam, and he struck his hands together. Balak then said to Balaam, I summoned you to curse my enemies, and see, you have kept on blessing these 3 times.
Oh! And don't forget, they're going from mountaintop to mountaintop, and they're throwing up 7 altars every time. So that's like a lot of work. Like, they're exhausting themselves trying to curse Israel, and this guy keeps calling out, uttering what Jehovah gives him. All right, 11.
Mm-hmm. And now,
shout out to Zulu 1, sorry.
And now flee to your place. I said I would greatly esteem you, and see, Jehovah has kept you back from esteem.
All right, and esteem is translated in this location as honor, in other locations of glory. Like when it says, and I'm using this only for, reference purposes, whenever in the King James Version it says glory of God, it's this word, kavod. And kavod is, like, right here you can see, it's the heavy thing. So it's translated as glory, and it's translated as liver. And in this case, honor, or in this case, esteem. But it's, and now flee to your place. I said I would greatly give weight to you, and see, Jehovah has kept you back from that weight. Or the heaviness, Oh, like when it says honor your father and mother, it also says, like, give weight to your father and mother.
Right.
Like that.
And Balaam said to Balak, did I not also speak to your messengers whom you sent to me, saying, if Balak should give me his house filled with silver and gold, I am unable to go beyond the word of Jehovah, to do either good or evil of my own heart, what Jehovah speaks, what that I speak.
Now, this is not always the situation, because he was a blesser and curser by hire. But in this situation, Yah told him, like, you're only going to speak what I tell you to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he's talking about here. He's like, I told your servants, like, I don't care if you fill my house with silver and gold, I can't speak anything other.
Mm-hmm. Can't be bought.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, like not not that he was like this, all of a sudden he has a good heart. Like
Mhm.
he's saying, there's no alternative here. I can't do anything else.
Mhm. And now see, I am going to my people. Come, let me advise you what this people is doing to do to your people in the latter days.
What they're going to do to you, yeah. Let's see, this council. Here, I'm going to my people. Oh, let me advise. Okay, council. the council is dew tree. So there we go. There's another reference. Yeah, Etz is dew tree,
Mm-hmm.
otherwise known as council. All right.
Okay. And he took up his proverb and said, the saying of Balaam, son of Beor, and the saying of the man whose eyes are opened.
Pause. That's not proverb, and it's not parable.
What is
I
it?
think we looked at this before in a previous chapter, probably, just a couple ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it's this rule, right? Like when you have rules and regulations, right? He took up this rule and said, so that's not parable or proverb. I don't know why they translate it that way. Doesn't make sense. Especially when you look at the context and it's like that's not a parable or a proverb. So,
All right. The saying of him who hears the words of El and knows the knowledge of the Most High, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down with eyes opened wide.
okay, so this is interesting because this is utterance. But I accidentally translated uh the words. It's not actually the words, it's the speech. Amer, to speak, right? Speak, word, continue. Okay, so this speech of El was translated to Amorites because it's the same translation,
Hmm.
because it's the speeches of El. So that's why context is important. This is not supposed to be Amorites. Just letting you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad translation on my part. And I'll have to let me make a note of that really quick. Sorry. I know that we're live and this is ridiculous. How dare you?
That's okay.
24:16. All right. Sorry. that's a big problem. All right.
All right.
17.
I see him, but not now. I observe him, but not near. A star shall come out of Yaakov, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and shall destroy all the sons of Shet.
Right.
Sheet.
So
Is that Shet? Sheet?
set. Yeah, it's Shet.
Set. Shet.
And this is also translated as Seth or Sheth. That's a whole nother animal. But people will use this prophecy of a very soon happening occurrence, and they use it for their current belief system. And you could say that the Jews will use this verse for one thing, and the Christians will use this verse for another thing. If you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
A star shall come out of Yaakov, a scepter shall rise out of Israel. So some Jews will say it means this thing, and some Christians will say it means this other thing. Okay? Just throwing that out there. All right.
And Edom shall be a possession, and Seir shall be a possession, enemies, and Israel is doing mightily.
And exists Edom, inheritance, inheriting, and existing, inheriting Seir, enemies of him, and Yisrael do making him wall, doing mightily. And Yisrael is doing mightily. Power, wall. Okay.
Is that acceptable?
Yeah. it's like Yisrael is a wall, is the way I would is making a wall, right? You can't encroach on Yisrael.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're putting up a wall. Like you can't get at them. Making a wall makes more sense than doing mightily.
Okay.
I was just trying to see how they got there. This one says shall do valiantly. So, all right, 19.
And out of Yaakov one shall rule and destroy the remnant from Ar.
Okay, the reason that it's italicized is because the word's not there. I want to see what it says here. Yeah, it doesn't even say anything there. The scriptures made their own choice to add a word there, but at least they're showing you by italicizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't know to look for the italicized, meaning that it was added. So it's good that they put it there. He shall spread or dominate from Yaakov and do perishing the remaining of the city. But the city, so this one translated it as of the city, and this one translated it as Ar, as in the township of Ar, the people of Ar.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be different because Ar is different from city. So I'm not quite sure why they translated it Ar. That this is one of those times that I don't agree with the scripture's translation. I have of the cities. They have of the cities. I would agree with that. All right. Verse 20.
He then looked on Amalek, and he took up his proverb and said, Amalek was the first among the nations, but his latter end is to perish forever.
Okay. Again, it's not proverb. It's the rule. Take up this ruling. I don't know why I guess I got to be consistent with the bad translation there. So, all right, verse 21.
He then looked on the Canaanites, and he took up his proverb and said, Firm is your dwelling place, and your nest is set in the rock.
And Canaanites, which is actually Cani, is like, back in the day, there was Cain and Abel. It's that kind of Cain.
Okay.
So it's that kind of that name of Cain. So.
But Cain is to be burned. Till when does Ashur keep you captive?
All right.
And he took up his proverb and said, Oh, who does live when El does this?
Oh my gosh, this proverb thing is driving me nuts. All right. Who does live when El does this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ships shall come from the coast of Kittim, and they shall afflict Ashur and afflict Eber, and so shall Amalek, and he also perishes. So
basically he's talking about you and all of your buddies, all your teammates are going down, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Kittim is today's Cyprus. It's the islands of the Mediterranean Sea. So.
Okay. And ships shall come from the coast of Kittim, and I already said that.
Yeah.
And Balaam arose and left, and returned to his place, and Balak also went this way.
Went his way. Yeah. Yeah, Balaam went one way, Balaam went the other way. Balak went the other way.
Okay.
Balaam, Balak.
All right.
But yeah, so this is the end of the scenario where they tried to curse Israel and instead they got blessed again and again and again because Yah had control. We're going to see in a few short chapters that Balaam goes back to his old practices after this fact, but he had no choice in this situation where Yah had told him, you're not going to be able to speak anything other than what I say. And again, I'm not the end all be all with translations. I'm just saying that's not the way I would have translated it. And I say that specifically because there are some things that I guess you could, get there eventually, like Yisrael doing mightily,
Mm-hmm.
you could get there by going through a path of logic, I guess. But yeah. All right. Let's see where we're at here. More people jumped in. We got MS, Duke Nukem, I think I already said.
Mm-hmm.
Earth first, space later. Zulu one, I shouted him out when I saw his name. And okay, I guess that was everybody. And let's see if there's any questions or anything.
I don't.
I heard the Ark of the Covenant is taken to Antarctica by Pope and Russian boat. I don't know. I haven't heard that. My wife and I were like scrolling through nonsense television, and they had this documentary that scientists have found the Ark of the Covenant, and then like it was a Christian channel, and I fast forwarded through the whole thing because I'm like, okay, they're gonna give a bunch of baloney, and then at the end they're gonna make their claim, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was no claim of the Ark of the Covenant found by scientists. Like clickbait on television. Like it's just horrible. Like, in other words, like their whole thing is, will scientists have discovered what it should look like or the apparent location of it? But there's so many things wrong with that statement. Number one, they're not scientists. Number two, they haven't found it. And number three, they don't freaking know. They're just guessing. So anyway. Oh, Phil Henry. I think that's the first time I saw that name. If I didn't shout you out before, I just did. All right.
Hey, Joe Mama.
Is there a manual on how to start your own religion? No, all you need is a book and say, this is how you're supposed to live according to this book because it was revealed to me. It was revealed to me in a mountain. It was revealed to me in a forest. It was revealed to me in isolation.
Yep.
It's always revealed to an individual in isolation on how to decipher the book that they found.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they have an invisible book, right? So like in the Mormons, John Smith had an invisible book that he could only see, and he had to cover his face and look inside of this deep hat because that's where it was written. And it just
and this is like in the 1800s,
it's
wasn't
really
it?
easy. Just be charismatic and have people listen to you like stuff,
Yeah. I mean, just look at the stuff trending on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, these what are they called? Content, like the people who like sell stuff on their Snapchat or Twitter or whatever. These people are making a crap ton of money because people idolize them. They have their own following, their own religion, Scientism is a religion. You just have to believe that they know better than you and follow them blindly. That's, it's fine. Great info. Always wondered about unicorn. Yeah, dude. Like look at what they translated it from and see if you can even get there. Because I couldn't even get there to unicorn. Like, that's some major leaps there. The lift of the wing, unicorn. And then, a friend of mine, he's like, well, if it's lift of the wing, shouldn't it be Pegasus? Like,
right?
But there's nothing there about a horse or an animal of any kind. So it's pretty crazy because then if you say, I've heard people say it's not a unicorn, it's a rhino. Like, it's like, no, it's not an animal. There's no animal here. There's nothing here to even assume that there's an animal being represented here. Anyway. I thought Ron Wyatt found it. I have some belief in Ron Wyatt's testimony. So as far as that goes.
Although I was watching some Ron Wyatt videos, and I know that they were saying like they thought they were getting really close, and then they went back to do more work, and everything in the tunnel was all cleared out, and everything was closed up, and they couldn't get back into it.
Yeah, they had blocked it off so that you cannot go back there. Whoever they is.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I
who
don't
did
wanna,
it. I don't even know. He doesn't even say in his video. He's like, we went back and it was all closed off and we couldn't get back into it.
Yep. And there was this mainstream testimony, okay, not you know, not Ron Wyatt, but like, like a newspaper, back in the day, after Ron Wyatt, where they sent people down in that area on tethers. And if you remember, like, the high priests had to have a tether around their ankle, and they wore bells. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And so there were people, these mainstream archaeologists, who went down there, and they literally had to pull them out by a tether because they died in there in the cave just looking for it. So I don't know. And that was a mainstream narrative. So, who knows?
Yeah.
Hippos are most dangerous animals in Africa. Yeah, but so this is what I'm talking about. Now we're going into a tangent of rhinos and hippos. Was that on Sasha's channel? I don't know anything about Sasha's channel. I don't know what that is. Nice to see you all season though. So yeah, we can tap out.
All right. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here and joining us for another episode of Anti-Religious Scriptures Study. And we will see you again next Saturday. So, perhaps.
Most likely.
Most likely. We'll try to let you know ahead of time if not.
Yes.
All right. So
Zulu one says it must be a Minotaur. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
All right.
Shabbat shalom, y'all, and the earth is still flat.
Shabbat shalom, the earth is flat. We'll see you all later, and have a restful day.